Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. Coming up, commercial activity picks up in Roseau in spite of layoffs following Hurricane Maria. Idona John Baptist has our report.
With 100% destruction to the agriculture industry and 95% loss to the tourism industry, the economic impact of Hurricane Maria is far-reaching. Every part of the private sector has also been touched. Still, things are looking up in the city where some businesses have gradually opened their doors to resume services. As the national body which represents the interests of the private sector, the Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce has taken action to submit a position paper to government since the September hurricane.
We've submitted a position paper to the government, and DAIC has also been in communication with the government in terms of giving recommendations that could help improve the business climate so that it would make investment better for persons who would want to invest in Dominica. The position paper makes certain recommendations to the government based on the concerns of the organization. So whether it is for the manufacturers, commerce in general, and some of our recommendations, we hope that they will be considered as quickly as possible because time is of the essence and we want our businesses to continue operating in Dominica.
While we've noticed that some businesses have resumed services, of course, it's clear that the impact of the hurricane on the private sector is across the board. What sort of feedback have you been receiving from your membership?
Well, it's very challenging for every member. Every member that I've visited, it's like it can be overwhelming to take in so much information of how much damage has been caused to so many persons. For some members, the parts of their businesses that generate the most income is what was most severely damaged, not just by the hurricane, but by the human hurricane, as I would put it. It really affected the business sector. There are lots of persons who are making decisions as to whether they will continue, to what extent they will continue doing business, even how much they are willing to invest. And right now, they're really concerned about things that can improve the business climate, incentives that they could receive, ways that they could be assisted by the government and other external partners to make business more favorable for continuing.
The human hurricane, of course, that is the widespread looting that took place after Hurricane Maria.
Well, I would say it's even beyond looting. Some persons were willful and intent in the damage that they caused. Some businesses were not they were not destroyed at all, and persons made the decision to break and open and destroy and steal. It was theft. So this has really affected the private sector. Many businesses have been affected.
Have you gotten any feedback that any one company is considering shutting down?
Well, I have spoken to, there's one member in particular, but based on his age as well, he's considering if he should continue business because after someone spent their whole life investing in a business to create value, not just for themselves, but for Dominica, in terms of what he suffered, he is really deciding should he continue. So up to now, he's not unable to make a decision, but I'm hoping that, well, in his best interest as well, but also in the interest of Dominica, he would be able to continue.
Aside from the devastation of the hurricane, the impact of looting also resulted in a lot of unemployment cases. How does the DAIC look at this?
Well, the DIC would encourage persons to continue to invest. It's rather unfortunate that persons have to be laid off. But in some cases, businesses they do not have the income to pay members. Their employees. They're really cash-strapped.
Fine Foods, owned by Carl Nassif, is one of the major firms that has cut staff. The company operates Save-A-Lot supermarket and fast food chain, KFC, which are both currently closed due to serious structural impact. Fine Foods warehouse in Jimmet was also victim to heavy looting. HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited, with a staff complement of over 250 people, had to lay off 90% of employees. Its director, Jason Whitchurch-Aird, said they would rehire as needed as rebuilding progresses. DAIC has been working with the Dominica Business Forum to assess the challenges and value of losses at businesses. The assessment covers finding out their short and medium-term needs. Idona John Baptist reporting for Channel 5 News.
Up next, one of Dominica's leading bouillon bands is calling on the authorities, rather challenging them, to push Dominica's culture overseas to show the country's resilience in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria. Andrea Louis has more.
Band manager for Triple K International, Geoffrey Joseph, acknowledged that Hurricane Maria brought everything in Dominica to a standstill and paralyzed the entertainment sector. He also revealed that 8 of Triple K's 12 members no longer have a source of income as there are no events or activities at which to perform. However, Joseph believes that the relevant authorities should show greater support to local entertainers by encouraging their participation in regional and international events geared at bringing greater exposure to Dominica in the wake of Hurricane Maria.
We know locally it's going to be very difficult to get back up because everything has crashed locally. And we understand that, and we're working along with that, and we're trying our best in our own capacity to see how we can do our own nation building to help the people, to help our fans, to give them that support, because morally is something that we realize that people need that moral support to be able to cope with the struggles of the hurricane. But we were also looking at having the support from other agencies, and speaking specifically probably of the DFC, the DDA, the Ministry of Tourism, and so on. And what we realized or recognized after the hurricane is that we think that probably these agencies don't take the entertainment industry that seriously. They look at it probably for the benefit of what it can do, but they don't take the players in the entertainment industry as serious persons, because what we realize is, and I can give you one example, there was a major concert organized by Marshall Montano and his counterparts throughout the region, supported by many regional artists, you understand? And we really have to commend the regional artists for their support to Dominica, to Barbuda, and the other places affected. But when they approached us to do the event and stuff, obviously we spoke to them on a we're trying to work with them because we realize that it's a relief effort, and we're also trying to ensure that the band members themselves don't feel like they give up their work for nothing. So we ask that we get some small stipend to assist the band members. We're not asking for full pay, obviously, because we realize the effort that they're doing. But we're asking for a little something so that when the band members go back home, they don't have to beg again in probably a ration line or something like that. They can feel like a man again and say, okay, I can go to any of the business places and buy a bread and get something to eat, and stuff like that, and support their own families and stuff. But what we discovered was that the persons who we believed should have been advocating for that sort of relief for the entertainers actually cried it down. They were actually saying that we're money hungry, and we're not looking for the country, and we are greedy, and all those kind of things. And you have that discussion going on among the top people in the Ministry of Tourism, the DDA, and those other places, And the information came back to us. It came back to us full, and it really breaks down your spirit to know that you're trying in your own way to do stuff. You haven't been depending on the government in any way to get work in the past. It is a difficult situation right now where everybody is depending on one another to get by, and we're not looking at trying to get anything from the government here because we know they're stretched. But we're saying this is the opportunity right now to show what what they're made of. You understand? Because the cry has been always to get back to normalcy, to get back to work. As an entertainer, as a musician, that is our work. And if we are able to get some work out there, we expect that they will be the ones to kind of push us. Fortunately for Triple K, we have been doing our work, and we have been trying to source to get our own events going out there in the overseas markets. As you may be aware, the passage of Hurricane Irma before Maria also affected a lot of our areas that we would have been normally performing at. So that dealt us a blow at that time. Then Maria came, gave us another blow. We're not getting support, so it's kind of difficult, but we're pursuing. We're trying our best. We're doing what we have to do. Fortunately, for now, we engage almost every weekend with an overseas event. And I have to say, you know, I'm really grateful to the fans of Triple K, the Dominicans overseas, both locally, also as well, because these people have been keeping the music alive locally, even if we haven't had a proper entertainment as yet, you know, event as yet, but they've been keeping it alive, they've been pushing, they've been requesting, and I like the spirit that, you know, everybody seems to be wanting to get back to normal.
I know that a lot of people are organizing concerts, relief concerts for Dominica, you know, in different islands, not just Marshall. How important do you feel it is for Dominican artists to be performing at those regional concerts? Not just a matter of stipend, but just, you know, as a showcase in Dominican unity, how important is it for Dominican artists to be at regional concerts for our own relief?
And that, again, as you say, is one of the areas that I think that the powers that be, again, who are usually notified of these events before the bands and the other artists, that they should try to get these artists, bands, entertainers on these events. It doesn't necessarily even have to be a musician. It could be someone who's versed in our Creole language. You understand? Just to give the country some level of exposure at these events. Because how fruitful is it that you have an event for Dominica, for the benefit of Dominicans? And probably certain people in these places have no idea what Dominica has. You understand? It would be nice that someone can represent the cultural aspect of Dominica. It would be nice to see probably the Carifuna group or Tradi Bell or one of those groups go and represent Dominica at these events. You know, just to let people know, okay, this is what's happening in Dominica. Dominica is full of culture. We're still alive. We can still perform. We can still do this and that. And thank you from a Dominican living in Dominica. Thank you for what you're doing for us. You understand? I think it would do well. You know, someone like Dice will represent Dominica well at certain functions. You know, I'd come and sing 1-2 songs, whatever, you know, and represent the country. Because at the end of the day, when these people do these events, and it's just other artists, other people, the people just feel like they went to a show. But if you don't have that presence of an artist or somebody representing the country in that form, and letting them understand and letting them be aware that we are appreciative of their efforts, I think it would be fruitless, you understand? Though we'll get the finance that we're looking for, but in terms of the exposure that we're looking for, because you never know what that can springboard. You understand? People might see probably Tradi Bell doing that dance and figure, what, you know, I have to bring these guys to Nigeria, or something like that. You never know where it's going to lead to. So these are the opportunities, I think, that the powers that be, again, should try to tap into.
As a wrap up our discussion, what message do you want to leave for our public in terms of, you know, entertainment in Dominica, Triple K, what they can look forward to? Any message to our public? The message right now I would really call for is unity. You know, unity and peace. I'm really calling for persons to think that, or to appreciate their brother, appreciate their sister. You understand? Because we can see in a moment you can lose all your loved ones, you can lose all your valuable possessions. You understand? So right now you have to appreciate what is right there with you. You have to enjoy life. Enjoy life in a meaningful way. Because what is it, why or how do you enjoy life in a violent manner? I really don't get it. You understand? I really don't understand how you enjoy life in a violent manner or in a criminal way. You understand? To me, right now, the people, the fans, the friends, Dominican public, enjoy life. Support each other. Love each other. Support local. Because we really need it right now for our local economy to build back up, you understand? And look out for Triple K 2018. Look out for Triple K hopefully before the end of 2017, where it will, something good should happen before 2017 ends. And major things are coming on stream for 2018, you know? That was band manager for Triple K International, Geoffrey Joseph, speaking to Channel 5 News on the impact of Maria on the entertainment sector and the band's plans moving forward from the Category 5 hurricane. Reporting for Channel 5 News, I'm Andrea Louis.
And speaking of resilience, just over 85% of Dominica's population is now able to access mobile phone service following Hurricane Maria, a feat which the CEO of Flow, Jeffrey Baptiste, says is remarkable. Just about 2 months after Hurricane Maria, Flow's CEO Jeffrey Baptiste says the company has so far restored 33 out of its 49 cell sites.
In any language you put it, I think just below 2 months, considering the unprecedented level of impact our country as a whole suffered, I think 33 sites out of 49, in my view, is nothing short of phenomenal. 67%, and that accounts to about 67% of our total mobile sites.
So far, service has been restored to Roseau and environs, as well as Scottshead, Portsmouth and Marigot.
The residents in Scottshead would have been thrilled to wake up about 2 mornings ago when they noticed that their mobile service again was restored and they had access to mobile telephony services. Mobile service now covers about 85% of our population. Again, as I said, mere just under 2 months since Hurricane Maria, as I speak to you today, we can report that we have about 85% of the population covered through mobile services. So 85% of our people here can make and receive a mobile call and can have communication via data services. As I said, this is nothing short, I think, from remarkable. I've always made the point that the level of devastation that we suffered as a country as a result of Hurricane Maria is unprecedented. I do not know that in our lifetime, at least those of us within my age group, can recount on any other event that would have had that level of impact to every section of our society.
Flow expects to have 4 additional cell sites up and running by the end of November.
This will include areas in the south and southeastern part of the country. Specifically, we're working to complete our restoration work in Grand Bay and the Bellevue, Chopin and Picheley areas by this week, maybe by the middle of this week. We are on track, and as I said, so for example, a significant hub or a significant community in the south, which is Grand Bay, we are working to address, and again, not wanting to jump ahead of our technical people there and our technical teams. But the ambition we've set for them is that before the end of this week, we need to get Grand Bay turned on, so we can have service restoration in the Grand Bay area. So we're working towards that. So that will cover a significant portion of the south.
Fixed phone service has so far been restored to 80% of Flow's business customers. Flow is working in Roseau and Portsmouth to restore telephone service to any business which is ready for that service. 70% of government service has been restored. And the recommendation that radio stations set up a reserve studio in time of disaster to ensure that they shorten the time as far as restoration following a storm is concerned.
The restoration of communication services after a natural disaster is of paramount importance to any country and its residents. Channel 5 News spoke with chairman of the Dominica Freedom Party, who says that local media houses should have a reserve setup that is accessible in times of need.
We should commend highly the regional security forces who are here, and they have played a great role. I think our police officers, to me from day one, I think there was a lapse on security because I thought looting went on too long. I mean, a whole week or so of looting that was uncalled for. Because when you loot, and the way we saw people looted, you tend to depress the businessman, because a businessman is needed, because if there is no business person, then no jobs is created, and so forth. And therefore, at times like these, we're not there to do the mischief. We're there to help each other and to rebuild, because when you loot to the extent that was looted after Maria, the businessman may lose courage and may not want to reinvest and so on. Therefore, the economy will suffer. Your brothers and sisters, your nenen, your mother, your father, whatever, will suffer in terms of employment. So I think we need to prepare. Another thing we fought to do, in terms of your communication, I think government should look at that in terms of legislating. Remove the thing about partisan control of the media. And you legislate that every media house have, apart from their studio, a reserve setup. That if in case a hurricane strike, it damages your main studio, you can use your reserve setup because communication is key. We can see after the hurricane where people were calling from all over the world, including Dominicans in Dominica, to find out what happened to their families in Granby, in Marigot, in Maho, all the places. So communication is very, very important. I think we should commend Flo and Digicel for the work they have done, because soon after the hurricane, we had communication back on, although sometime the signal would lapse, but at least you were able to make a call at some point. And I think Domlec needs to be commended too, because we have seen in Roseau, there are some areas with lights, electricity in Portsmouth as well. And they're working hard to have it in rich other areas. I think the WASCO need to be commended for the work done, because, I mean, water is key. I mean, without, you can see, well, put on my lamp and my flashlight. Well, if you don't have water, you have to bathe, you have to wash, you have to cook, and so forth. And yes, cleaning, which probably can get last priority, but in terms of bathing, washing, cooking, flushing toilets, these are very key. And I think we need to have those things organized. Another thing we need to focus on going forward is when a hurricane is announced, all these NEPO meetings shouldn't just be meeting together, but it should be meetings with substance to look at things that are real. And I think the supermarket owners, you should investigate how much supplies they have in their storeroom and how long it can help the country, because after disaster, you may want food for a week until food comes in from outside. And therefore you can say, okay, we put a lien on your food, government will pay you for it in the event of a disaster. This food will be taken from you, we'll pay you for it, so we can give what you call quick help to persons who are in distress. So I think we have a lot to do going forward, and I think if we can correct, I understood that people, someone said to me, I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard that people are bringing things and say, compliment the Parliament. That should not be, because you're not interested in Parliament, you're interested in your survival and how your country recover from the hurricane. This Parliament issue, you have time for that. The election is time for campaign and for criticism and for those. And I think when you make constructive criticism, it should not be taken as if, well, you're disloyal or you do not love your country. But what should happen is that those responsible should investigate and correct it.
Meantime, Boston weighed in on the recent resignation of Dr. Sam Christian, who was deputy leader of the Dominica Freedom Party. The chairman says he was disappointed with the way in which Christian resigned.
Well, the Freedom Party is a party, a democratic party, an open party. We have served in government and we served in opposition before that. We are back again in opposition. We're rebuilding the party and we're very open to people. We're an open church. People are free to come in and so forth. We do our very best under the circumstances to keep the party going. I mean, resources are difficult to parties and so on. We put our own resources, our own talent, experience and knowledge and profession together to maintain the party. And Dr. Christian's resignation, it's unfortunate, but I guess he will move on, the party will move on, and that's what it is. My only disappointment, though, is I expected him to resign professionally. Like if you're resigning, you write and seek an audience with the party executive, and after the audience, based on what happened there, then you can take a decision in terms of a letter, and then you take it to the media. But to have gone to resign in the media, really, to me, very disappointing, to say the least. But we're a party, we don't really wash our linens in public. We have no dirty linens, but we don't wash our linens in public unless it is necessary.
And that was chairman of the Dominica Freedom Party on the way forward for Dominica post-Hurricane Maria. I am Kenny Williams reporting for Channel 5 News.
This has been the Channel 5 News. Feel free to contact us at news@MarpinNewsNov13th2k17. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us next time.